Welcome back to Stingy's Traeger Tabletop. This is Stingy, and again we're here to do another review on bulk ammo. And this time it is with the Walther P22 shooting the CCI Blazer bulk ammo. And this ammo, I believe, is a 40 grain lead round nose, and I'm not sure what length barrel it comes out of, but on the box it says it's 1235 feet per second. Now, if you've watched any of Traeger's previous videos on this particular ammo and the pistols that he did his testing with, how our procedure, how it works is that we clean the guns to factory clean, as close to factory clean as possible, and we oil it up as necessary, and then we proceed to fire 1,000 rounds without cleaning all throughout that 1,000 rounds. Now, it took us two separate range visits to fire the 1,000 rounds, but in between the range visits we did not clean them and we did not oil them, so we just left them as they were after shooting. However, for my Walther P22, I do want to make one particular note that's a little bit different from Traeger's experience, is that the Walther P22 that you see here is not stock. I have done extensive modification to it, both exterior and most importantly interior parts, to make this more reliable pistol, because when I first got it, it was not very reliable. However, for those of you who have a later version, this is a 2010 Walther P22. If you have a later version than 2010 and you have a better experience with it in terms of shooting bulk ammo or varying a variety of ammo, please leave your comments down below. So basically, this round that we're firing is just a bulk gray box that you see at Walmart and most local, sporting goods stores that carry ammo. And we want to pick ammo that's readily available, so that most of our viewers they can have access or know where they have access to this. And I believe a box of this for at least in our area, a box of this for 525 rounds runs about $16.99, and that comes to roughly about 3.3 cents a round. So it's a very cost-effective load for training and even some small game hunting. Now, what we did also in that 1,000 round, we also, aside from reliability, we also wanted to test accuracy of this round coming out of each particular gun. And coming out of the Walther P22, here's the first 10 rounds, and you can see it's at 7 yards, and all of this is shot from the bench, and you can see it's a pretty decent group. It shot a little low the first 10 rounds. I think I just had to adjust for the sights. But you can see that, for what it is, coming out of a 3.5 inch barrel, and, this being bulk ammo, it's pretty accurate. And then the last 10 rounds, which is rounds 991 to 1,000, you can see it's, spread out a little bit more, but it's still a relatively decent group, and I was able to bring the group back up a little bit higher towards the actual bullseye. So, definitely a very accurate round for what it is for this particular pistol. In terms of reliability, out of the 1,000 rounds, the Walther P22, out of 1,000 rounds of CCI Blazer 22, it had failures to feed at round 161, 361, 362, 432, 461. Now our first actually, I'm sorry, 461 was a dud. It was not a failure to feed. Now I want to stop here and just talk about those particular failures. So there were five failures all the way up to 461. Actually, 4 failure up to 432, because what happened was our first outing we shot about 450. We shot exactly 450 rounds out of this pistol. So those 4, you'll notice that we had one failure earlier on at round 161, but then the majority of the other failure happened towards the end, starting from round 361 to 432. And what we were thinking, what happened was that as it got towards the end and we were doing rapid fires and basically firing this continuously, the heat was a factor, and as it got warmer and warmer, you get more failures, and of course the soot buildup did not help. Let me see if I can lock this back. Okay, so the soot buildup in here just definitely did not help. So, however, we still wanted to continue the testing, so we let the gun cool down, and we brought it back for the second range session, and we continued to fire it. And surprisingly, even though I did not clean it, nor did I oil this particular gun, aside from, let's see, at round 461, that particular dud, which I do not attribute to the pistol so much, but as to the particular round, it had additional 3 failures to feed towards the end, which was round 911, 966, and 983. However, after about round 950, the last 2 failures to feed at 966 and 983, the problem there was that we actually ran out of CCI Blazer, and the only thing we had left was a box, and because this was the last gun that we were testing, and the only thing we had left to finish off the last 50 rounds were standard pressure CCI target ammo, and the standard pressure just did not cycle the slide as well as the regular CCI Blazer, which ran a little hotter and faster too. So, you know, if I can throw out those last 2 failure to feed, probably due to a standard pressure, out of the 1,000 rounds consistently in terms of failure to feed, I had 5, and then pretty much 1 dud. And the 1 dud that I had, I pretty much took it out, turned it around, and fired it, and it was fine. So basically what it really means is just that on one side of the rim there just wasn't any primer, and once you turn around and you're able to fire it. And now, some of those failure, of course, has a lot to do with cleanliness of the round. And one of the things that we noticed about the CCI Blazer was that it was sooty, although not noticeably so when firing, so you didn't get like a looming cloud around you or something like that. That was not a major issue. However, the soot did build up inside the pistol. And let me zoom in here a little bit. Let's see. And you can see that there are actual clumps of soot. And Trigger and I were thinking that probably the clumps of soot, the reason why they're clumped together like that, is probably due to what seems like a waxy nature of the CCI rounds. When you get them out of the box, you'll notice like little specks of wax, and we're thinking that as the wax heat up and gets blown back into the action and into the chamber here, and also whatever carbon or powder that doesn't burn up in the barrel, that bonds together and then adheres to basically the sides of the slide and, you know, your feed ramp and everything, which over time will affect your slide being able to cycle back and forth, and of course feeding the round into the chamber. And while we're at it, just to show you real quick, the consistency of this stuff is rather waxy, and some of this has actually hardened actually. Yeah. Let's see. So here's a couple of clumps, and you can spread it. And while the actual particulates in there are rather fine, the waxy nature of it makes them clump up, and you get little particles, like particles like this, all throughout. And you can see I can literally dump it out of the gun right now, and that's how much we shot it and how much it was retained in the gun. And we believe it had something to do with the wax heating up and getting blown back into the action here. Zoom back. So basically that's the that's, you know, the overall performance in terms of how the CCI Blazer worked with the Walther P22, and you know, you saw, you know, the cleanliness and how well it cycles through this after, you know, throughout the whole 1,000 rounds. And overall, I definitely can recommend shooting this round out of the Walther P22. One, it's a very cost-effective round at 3.3 cents a round. It's you know, very cheap, and you can definitely fire this all day. And honestly, I don't know who's gonna sit there in one outing and try to shoot 1,000 rounds out of a single pistol, and just, you know, or even 500 rounds out of a single pistol in one day or in one session, and not letting it cool off. So if you're just shooting, like, you know, a few hundred rounds, you know, a couple hundred rounds here and there, you can see it. You can pretty much go quite a while with CCI Blazer out of the Walther P22. At least with my particular Walther P22, I want to make that clear. This is my particular data point on the CCI Blazer out of my Walther P22. So, and if you guys have a different experience with, you know, the bulk CCI Blazer with your Walther P22 that differs from my experience, and again, I wanted to say, you know, one of the reasons why it could be different is because I've done extensive modification to this. Please leave that, you know, leave your notes in the comments and let me know. And again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe for more fun gun projects and review videos. And we're just a couple of city slickers trying to work this out as we go. Thank you for watching. P22, first 10 rounds test. CCI Blazer. Rounds 990 to 1,000. Last 10 rounds, accuracy test without cleaning. CCI Blazer.